George Miller finally dropped a Mad Max Furiosa trailer. Aquaman is tracking for a rough Christmas weekend, and Beyonce's Renaissance tour film is destroying at the box office. Let's get into this week's movie news on Raiders of the Lost podcast.
After nearly 10 years, we finally got the trailer for Mad Max Furiosa, and it did not disappoint. We're re-entering the world of George Miller's fantastical dystopian scape with a new cast. We get young Immortan Joe. We're getting Hemsworth.
He's so hot in this.
Hemsworth with a huge fake nose, and Anya Taylor-Joy as a young Furiosa. It looks absolutely fantastic, dynamic, insane, and action-heavy. And I gotta say, Hemsworth looks like he might put in the performance of his career.
It looks like his most interesting role. And I remember seeing an interview with him, I believe when he was doing press for Thor: Love and Thunder, he got asked about Furiosa, and he said, it's the most rewarding and most exciting experience I've ever had on a movie set.
He said it's the performance he's most proud of in his career. So
I'm very excited for it.
And the fake nose, it's reminiscent of Matt Damon in Ocean's 13. The nose plays. The nose plays. But it looks absolutely fantastic. I can't wait to see this on the biggest screen possible. The sound.
His character's name is Dementis.
Yeah, so he actually talked about the character. They did a whole huge Q&A with Hemsworth and Anya Taylor-Joy as an event for releasing the film in front of a huge crowd. Like, it looked like it was a lot of fun. And Hemsworth said about Dementis, he's a complicated individual, the character I play. He's very violent, insane, a brutal person who was born from the wasteland, which is the world in which the Mad Max Saga obviously takes place. And he's a product of his environment. There's an intensity to him. As I said, there's a brutality as well, but he has been birthed into a space where it's kill or be killed, and he's learned to rule with an iron fist. There's a charisma to him, and it's a very manipulative charisma. This is something that we talked about a lot in this film, which was in order to have people follow this character, there needs to be something to latch onto. So he has the answers as far as, here's the answers for your problems, here's the individual that you need to blame. Follow me, and I will lead you to a higher ground. So it was a lot of fun to play with something very different than I had ever experienced before as an actor.
I can't wait. It looks awesome. We love Fury Road. It's one of the most incredible cinematic experiences we've had this century. So I'm so excited to get back into that world and George Miller's insane mind. It's going to be exciting stuff. Another great piece of news that we found out this week was the new lineup for Actors on Actors.
Oh, so yeah, the Variety.
So Variety gets really huge actors, and they interview each other, basically, talk about the films that they are most known for that year. And they teased the lineup with one of those Barbenheimer memes of the pink and purple house next to that black house. And that's when Variety tweeted, like, lineup revealed tomorrow. And everyone's like, oh my God, is it going to be Cillian Murphy and Margot Robbie together? And yes, Cillian Murphy and Margot Robbie are going to be in their lineup together. Then we have Robert Downey Jr. and Mark Ruffalo for, obviously, Oppenheimer and Poor Things. Emily Blunt and Anne Hathaway for Oppenheimer and Eileen.
The return of Devil Wears Prada right there, reunion.
That's going to be a lot of fun.
They had a couple of reunions in Ruffalo and Downey, obviously.
Halle Bailey and Rachel Zegler for, obviously, Little Mermaid, The Color Purple, and then Hunger Games. Emma Stone and Bradley Cooper for Poor Things and Maestro. Bradley Cooper is a great image. He's just like waving like a little kid. I love how he's like so excited to be there. And Emma Stone's just like very like
I love all
reserved.
the actors have like very like styled clothing, and then Bradley Cooper's just wearing a sweater and jeans. Like
Bradley Cooper,
he doesn't care.
Coleman Domingo and Jacob Elordi for Rustin, obviously, and then Priscilla Saltburn. Carey Mulligan for Maestro, Michael Fassbender and The Killer. That's going to be a good one as well.
Oh, yeah.
Jeffrey Wright with Taraji P. Henson. Obviously, American Fiction comes out in December. Very excited about that. And then Taraji for The Color Purple. Greta Lee and Andrew Scott. That's going to be an excellent one as well.
So hot right now.
Past Lives and All of Us Strangers. Annette Bening and Julianne Moore. Awesome stuff right there with Neon in May, December. Natalie Portman with Paul Mescal for May, December, and then All of Us Strangers. Alden Einrich and Devine Joy Randolph. She's in The Holdovers. Then Alden was in Fair Play and Oppenheimer this year. So what an incredible lineup. These start to air starting January 11th. And
I love them. I always watch them.
They're always great interviews to check out. I'll probably watch them on YouTube once they're all released.
The Cillian Margot one is going to fucking destroy the internet.
The view count is going to be absurd.
Like the organization of that, they're like, we got to get them together.
I know.
Those two.
It's so cool that they're doing it together, but also they kind of played to the Barbenheimer meme with their wardrobe. Cillian's in all black, and then Margot's wearing
She's got a touch of pink on.
Yeah, she got a pink shirt and pink heels on. So it's like, I love it. They're having fun with it.
It's going to be a really great series of interviews. I can't wait. I always enjoy watching them every year.
Yeah, that
and
sounds great.
Then we'll get the directors' roundtables and the writers' roundtables, which are always great interviews and conversations. Looking forward to it.
Moving on.
Now, there's something weird going on with modern marketing of a few musicals. So, all of the musicals coming out this year. So, we have Wonka, Mean Girls, and then The Color Purple.
They're all coming out in 2024?
Mean Girls is coming out next year, sorry.
Okay.
But not far away.
Gotcha.
All of the studios have completely eliminated any music from their trailers. The Color Purple has a little bit of singing and a little bit of dancing. Just a little bit, but you wouldn't know that Wonka and Mean Girls were musicals unless you actually looked into it. Now, all the studios, for some reason, they're purposely not showing these films to audiences that they're musicals. They're not advertising it, which I think is strange. I think they assume that people won't show up to a musical if they're not musical fans. But it's weird to make a musical and not advertise it as a musical. You have not seen Timothée Chalamet sing in any of the marketing for
You're
Wonka.
totally right.
There's a couple of shots of like a dance number, quick shots. Otherwise, it's just dialogue. Same thing with Mean Girls. There are a couple of shots of dances here and there. No singing at all. The Color Purple, there's a little bit of singing, but they make it seem like the singing in The Color Purple is like one of the characters performing in front of the other characters. Like it's like they're putting on a show and a scene rather than it being a musical. So the studios are hiding the fact that these are musicals. I think they're afraid that people won't come out and the box office will be low because musicals generally don't perform as well as other films. But I just think it's odd to make musicals and not market your films as musicals.
How did West Side Story do at the box office?
It did okay.
Honestly, I forgot Wonka was a musical until you just said that.
It doesn't look like a musical.
And I remember it was going to be a musical, and I remember seeing behind the scenes of Timothée Chalamet singing on top of a carriage and just like having fun. And I totally forgot it was a musical. You're right.
How do you not show him singing at all in the trailer? It doesn't make any sense. And early reactions for Wonka have been coming out saying that it's actually really fantastic and his singing is wonderful and his performance is really charming and excellent as Wonka. And they're also pointing out that there is a lot of singing and dancing. It is a full-on musical. So they are portraying their films as non-musicals.
It's interesting because a musical character, the lead, their most exciting moments are when they're singing and dancing. And then when you watch the trailer for Wonka, you're like, oh, I mean, it looks fine, but the performance is like, it looks reserved almost to what I thought Wonka was going to be like. But now I want to see Timothée Chalamet sing in the trailer.
I mean, if I saw a trailer of it being a musical, I would be more excited to see it personally.
Yeah.
I think it's strange. And same thing with the Mean Girls trailer. Not a single moment of singing.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Wow. I get it. I've saw
no
it in
singing
theaters.
at all.
That's interesting.
You see a couple shots of dances. And then The Color Purple, same thing where it looks like it's just a performance in a scene.
Same. I didn't know it was a musical.
Rather than, it looks like one of the characters is like a singer, but it's actually a full-blown musical as well.
Odd stuff, man.
So they're I think they, it's just weird. It's weird marketing in my opinion. It's strange.
It is odd. Speaking of marketing, DC better get their game together because Aquaman, The Lost Kingdom, it's tracking for a rough $40 to $50 million opening weekend on Christmas weekend. And Christmas is on a Monday, right?
Yes.
So this is going to be really a 5-day opening weekend, and that's really low for a $250 million movie, which this is. Now,
And
the first film made $1 billion, so I think they're counting on, that fan base showing up for Aquaman 2. I like the first Aquaman movie. I'm not super enthused about the story going forward. I'll check it out for sure. But, I think DC's in trouble if this is because obviously The Flash was such an underperformer. This looks like it's going to be another underperformer. And we all know the reboot's happening with Superman Legacy. So I'm really interested to see what this does. But again, this is going to be a 4 to 5 day holiday weekend, and that's insanely low. That would be low for a 3-day normal weekend.
Yeah, and to be tracking at around half of the first film's box office is horrible. And
with an extra day.
I think that general audiences are just tired of superheroes. I think it's really showing lately. The last 6 months, it's just really showing, and people are just getting, it's fizzling out. And I think that Aquaman performed really well with $1 billion, but I knew it wasn't going to do that, this sequel. So we'll see. I don't see superhero movies. I don't think that they should be made for $300 million anymore. They really shouldn't, because they're not going to be putting up the numbers they used to. It's obviously the evidence of it's been like the last half of this year has just been very disappointing numbers for all of the superhero films.
Yeah, but I mean, this is a movie that was greenlit 3 years ago, in production 2 years ago,
And
so it's coming out.
If your movie makes $1 billion, they're going to be like, let's make a huge sequel, obviously.
Especially with how that big push that DC did the last couple of years, obviously with The Flash and everything. But, I mean, it is what it is.
I think there's just a lack of interest.
You're right. I think people are just getting tired of the superheroes. The Marvels, the first one makes $1 billion. This new one makes under $200 million at the global box office, right?
Yeah.
And then Aquaman makes $1 billion. This one's tracking under $50 million domestic on a 4-day weekend.
Yeah, on a holiday weekend too.
It's crazy, yeah.
Yeah, so I just think that, going forward, it looks like superhero movies, they should really be.
Well, you're right. The fan base is still strong.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of people. Like, it's a lot of money to go for a movie. You know what I mean?
It's still,
If your movie gets $50 million opening weekend, that's a lot of money. But when your budget's so ballooned out of proportion
Exactly.
to that, then you're not making profit. But like, if their budgets were $100 million,
This
that's
would be
fine.
successful.
That's good.
But this movie's
Like
incredible.
Hunger Games,
Yeah.
$100 million budget.
Yes, exactly.
$50 million opening weekend. Killed it.
Yeah, I think that studios going forward should stop spending as much money as they are on superhero films because it does. I mean, and also audiences are craving something different. This year showed that Barbie and Oppenheimer, their huge success, showed that audiences, they want something new. And Oppenheimer made $50 million opening weekend, but then for 2 months it just destroyed continuously. So Aquaman, obviously, this movie, like all the other superhero movies lately, they're going to be front loaded. And so Aquaman's going to make 40 to 50 opening weekend, and then its second weekend, I guarantee, will drop to 10 million. So
Probably, yeah.
it's not going to have legs, and this is just showing that audiences, we're looking for new stories to see, new things to see.
Same, bro.
Yeah, but there is one superhero property that's doing very well, and that's The Boys, which released its first image of Homelander for season 4 online, and for the superhero genre, this is the top of the mountain at the moment.
Yeah, it wasn't a revelation of anything specific. It's just an behind the head shot of Homelander in some sort of office. It's a cool shot.
It's
pretty exciting.
It's a little tease.
But I'm curious what he's up to. He's up to something. It looks like he's scheming. He's
always-
scheming something. But also, The Boys are going to get a spinoff in the works. In addition to Gen V, they are getting The Boys Mexico spinoff in the works with Gael Garcia Bernal and Diego Luna leading the production in terms of development, as well as they're hoping to be plan to be leads in it as well.
Yeah, we'll see. That would be a lot of
That's
fun.
awesome. That's
Yeah.
so cool. Plus, them two are just
it
best
said-
buds for life,
Yeah.
so that's so cool they're working together again.
From what I read, they're not looking to be leads, but just small supporting
Okay.
roles. But being involved as producers completely.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Next up, so the box office is going to be resurged with another concert film this weekend. Beyonce's Renaissance tour is going to hit theaters this weekend.
Liv was there. I saw her in their stories.
And then Taylor Swift walked the carpet to help promote it.
They're clever. They work together on it.
Yeah, so the Renaissance tour is expected to bring in $5 million for Thursday night. So we're recording this ahead of schedule. We can't do the box office report accurately this episode. And also, speaking of AMC, they're doing a re-release of 2 Christmas classics. So Die Hard will be re-released
In AMC?
in AMC theaters starting on December 8th.
Are we going?
We're absolutely going. And it will run for about a week. And then Love Actually will actually be coming out the next week after that for the middle of December for an entire week-long run. So if you're going to AMC theaters lately, you'll be seeing trailers for Love Actually and for Die Hard's re-releases.
Hell yeah, I didn't know about Die Hard.
Yeah, and-
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
And then The Abyss, James Cameron's film, is getting a re-release on December 6th for 2 days.
That's very
at
cool.
AMC theaters.
I want to see that. I haven't seen The Abyss in a while, but
Yeah.
underrated film. Underrated movie. Let's move on to Godzilla Minus One. It's a giant hit with critics and fans, hitting theaters in the U.S. on December 1st. The kaiju feature is being hailed as among the best of the iconic franchise's 70-year history. I haven't checked it out yet,
The trailer looks awesome,
but
they
it's
dropped a new
supposed
one
to be
yesterday.
really, really good.
Yeah, it's supposed to be really fantastic, and I'm looking forward to it. It looks like a fun new take on Godzilla, and CGI looks outstanding. And then it's just like it's a Japanese production.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool.
I thought it was going to be a streaming release.
So the streamer is the TV show with the Russells.
Yeah,
And that's on Apple TV right now.
gotcha.
I just saw them. I was at the gym and they were on Good Morning America. The two of them. It was very cute.
That must be so
And
fun.
Kurt Russell looked like such a proud dad. He was like, Wyatt Russell was talking, and then Kurt Russell was just like looking at him like proud dad
I made
vibes.
this guy. Look what I did. Look at this. Look at my boy. That's my boy. That's my boy.
But
My son.
I thought it was so smart that they cast father and son.
It's
for
awesome.
that show. Yeah, very smart. For a
Do
TV
they
show,
play father and son in the show as well?
no, they play the same character.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, so
They play the same role. How about you move us into the new King Dynasty news?
Yeah, we got some MCU news. So Avengers King Dynasty is still a go. I guess they're not flipping the switch, and they're not going Doctor Doom's route.
Don't switch that flip.
So they got a new writer. Loki and Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness writer Michael Waldron will be taking over responsibility of writing Avengers: The Kang Dynasty. So I guess they're gonna keep it going. I thought they were gonna go Doctor Doom and switch
Maybe they'll
from
recast.
Kang.
They'll probably recast him.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
Seems like it. So even though,
I mean, technically you can cast anyone as Kang. Doesn't matter.
yeah, I guess, but Major's trial has been going on all week. Like it's officially,
right
they
now?
have the jury going, and so that'll be happening this week.
Damn.
Upcoming. So who knows what's gonna happen? But they're just going forward with Kang.
Yeah, I mean, you can just cast anyone to replace it, and it's not going to be. It won't even be a problem continuity wise because
Yeah,
Kang
true.
can take any form. So, yeah.
That's a good point. I think that they shouldn't be afraid to cast characters in their roles anymore. Like I feel like the MCU's been reserved about that.
Reserved about what?
Recasting.
Oh, recasting.
yeah. It's always been a thing.
Yeah.
It's always happened.
No one will care. Next up, we got the first character posters for House of the Dragon Season 2.
No way, I did not see these.
Yeah, of our two leads, and they are ready for war. I can't wait for this. It looks fantastic. It's not coming out till later next year, but this is a fun tease to check out. Look at the posters. They're really fantastic.
Oh man, I can't wait. I cannot wait. My guy Damon's gonna be coming in hot.
Oh my
man.
god, it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be so epic.
This is sick.
Yeah,
I
I'm
can't
looking-
wait, man.
yeah,
That
don't they
show
look
is
great?
so freaking good. Yeah, these
Yeah.
are great posters.
Speaking of Max, talking about Warner Brothers now, David Zaslav, the CEO of Warner Brothers, says that canning Batgirl was absolutely necessary, and he, in quote, "What content is going to help us win? The content that wasn't, we made a strategic decision on it. It was difficult and it was painful, but I think it was the right decision for the company, and it was necessary to get rid of Batgirl." So they think that it wouldn't have helped the company, so they instead wrote it off as a tax write-off.
I want to see it. Honestly,
I wanna see it.
I kind of want to see it.
I want to, like, a group of people should, like, break into the Warner Brothers headquarters and get to the servers and download them.
I know,
and
right?
release it online. That would be fun.
I'm sure it's somewhere. I bet you one of them has it somewhere, but they don't want to get sued into oblivion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they probably got it at their home on their laptop or something, or an early cut or something. But
Someone has something.
I'm just so curious. I know it's probably not going to be very good based off the people, what people said, the production set photos and everything looks like a CW production. That's, you know, that's the meme that's going around. I still would be curious to see it.
Yeah.
I still would be curious. I just want to know, like, I want to know that they made the right decision in canning it.
Everybody's curious about it. They should have just dropped it on Max just to do it.
No, they couldn't get that tax break.
That's true. It's crazy.
Man, those loopholes, man, it's fucking wild. The tax loopholes in the film industry. Moving on to some Universal news with Oppenheimer. So we all know that Christopher Nolan's a huge fan and promotes physical copies of movies. And Oppenheimer's 4K disc release happened. It was so in demand, it went out immediately. You couldn't find a copy anywhere.
Yeah,
Online, the sale was just like boom. It was like a Ticketmaster sellout.
I could only
immediately.
find them on eBay.
And they're probably overpriced right now too.
$30 for Blu-ray, but I'd rather have the 4K UHD.
So the demand is sky high, and they're just trying to restock for the Christmas season, for the holiday season. They're doing their best, but
They're gonna make so much money.
I didn't even try to get it. I want one eventually, but I'm like, I'm not going to deal with the stress of like, I couldn't get it. I didn't get it. Like, it's just going to be too hard to get one of those copies.
I'm gonna get one for Christmas.
It might be
It'll
like
be my Christmas present to
yeah.
myself.
It's exciting because this never used to be really a big headline. It used to be back in the day of like DVD sales. This thing
Things
is sold
selling out.
You
You'd have
can't
to get
a
the Best
copy.
Buy ASAP to
Yeah.
get a new copy.
But I haven't heard this kind of headline in like 5 to 10 years of like people a movie in demand for a physical copy. But
Only
love
Nolan,
to hear,
man.
I'd love to hear it.
Only fucking Christopher Nolan
That's the
can
thing
do
with
this.
Nolan. It's insane.
He's got so much pull. It's unbelievable that they sold out of 4K discs in a.
When was the last time
day.
that happened? I have no idea.
I don't know. Maybe Endgame. Maybe
I guess
Endgame.
maybe. Yeah, maybe. I love it. We got
fucking
some
awesome.
Alien news though. For
Alien
both,
Romulus news.
for
yeah.
both the movie and TV show. Tell us the Alien Romulus news, Anthony.
So it's been revealed that Fede Alvarez's upcoming film Alien Romulus will actually take place between Alien Covenant and Alien. However, the film will neither be a prequel nor a sequel to either story. It will just take place in the time period between.
That's what I figured because I know there's no connection to the
Yes.
movies in terms of story and characters or anything like that. I just assumed that, that makes the most sense because that's the largest time period for the movie to take place in terms of the lore.
Yeah,
of
so
all the films combined.
So that'll be the setting. So it'll be. I think it makes sense because it'll be like another group of people who encounter the xenomorph. You know what I mean?
I hope so.
Well, because the xenomorph has to have been formed by then, and so it's unrelated. However, they're obviously encountering the same monster.
So David will have to have created the xenomorph, and it had to have gotten off that planet where the engineers had their temple and everything in their city.
Maybe they'll also encounter the crashed ship. And maybe it'll be reminiscent of Alien.
Well, let's see. So if it's between Alien Covenant and Alien, maybe the colony's involved somehow, because obviously David would have gone to the colony.
But it's not going to be a direct sequel at all.
I know, and it's not going to have a connection to it.
Yeah.
So they must have figured something out.
I think it's just going to be a separate story that also encounters the xenomorph.
And not worry about explaining where it came from.
Exactly.
All right.
Simple.
Or maybe they do.
Simple.
Maybe they came with an idea of that could connect it somehow for a reason for the xenomorph to be wherever the cast is taking place with the action and everything.
Yeah, maybe.
The catalyst of the whole plot.
I love catalysts.
But if the xenomorph's not in it, I'm not about this.
The xenomorph's in it. It's called Alien.
Just saying.
It's got to be in it.
It's got to be in it. All right. And it better be the xenomorph. I don't want some other
they know what people want.
Yeah, I want just the give me it. Drooling everywhere. And also the Alien TV series that Noah Hawley's leading as a showrunner, Timothy Oliphant has just joined the cast. One of our favorite TV actors of the last 10 years.
Raylan Givens is going to be an alien? Fuck yeah.
He's just going to be doing a southern accent with a gun.
That's all I need. That's all I need.
Great casting. He's going to be awesome. I mean, if he's in it, let's go.
Fuck yeah. Next up, Eli Roth's slasher film Thanksgiving has just been greenlight with a sequel already. It was a huge success, made a ton of money, and the studio is very happy with it. So they're like, let's do another one next year. So looks like we got a new horror franchise on our hands.
I still haven't seen it. Haven't had time to get.
Yeah,
to the
we've
theater.
been quite busy.
Quite busy with our secret project.
Yeah.
Secret project. You'll all find out soon, but it's taking up some
Haven't had time to do anything.
Haven't had time. Let's get into some trailers, Anthony. What do we got for trailers?
So the first trailer was a Jodie Comer film called The End We Start From. It's Mahalia Bellows' feature debut, and it's a survival dystopian film about civilization falling under because of intense flooding on coastal cities, and then the world's just like in disarray. And she plays a new mother who's trying to raise her baby during this dystopian apocalypse.
All right,
Looks interesting.
Then we have Jessica Chastain. Jessica Chastain and Peter Sarsgaard in Memory.
So this is
comes out in January 2024.
It's a character drama, and Peter Sarsgaard plays a man who is struggling with the mental health issue of not remembering things he does. And one of the things that happens is he often begins following this woman played by Jessica Chastain. However, he doesn't remember doing it. There's other things he does that he doesn't remember doing. So he's struggling to cope with the fact that he can't even remember half the things he does during the day.
He's got amnesia.
Not amnesia, but it's more of like a health issue. I think maybe like early onset Alzheimer's or something.
Gotcha.
And so she's struggling to deal with this guy who she clearly has a connection with, but he can barely function on his own as a person anymore. So it looks like a really cool, intense, quiet drama. Also set in New York, so it looks really great.
And we have an Ethan Hawke film?
No, so it's the remember the Alive? The plane crash movie in the Arctic mountain with Ethan Hawke?
Yes.
Came out in the 90s. It was about a soccer team.
Yeah.
So this is the a new adaptation of that true story, and it tells the story of the Uruguayan rugby team that survived a plane crash and had to endure months of freezing cold temperatures. So this is the same story as the film Alive. This is a more accurate interpretation of the true story. They changed some things with the Ethan Hawke adaptation in the 90s. And the famous thing about the story was that the rugby players began eating the frozen corpses of their fellow teammates, and that was how they survived. And so this is going to be, looks like a really cool survival story. It's a Netflix movie, so look for it on Netflix next month.
Damn, so messed up.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into some more news. So Killers of the Flower Moon has been named by the New York Film Critics Circle as the best film of 2023. Oppenheimer in May December also received 2 awards as well. Christopher Nolan won Best Director.
Looking forward to award season,
I hope
man.
that's a preview for the Oscars. If Nolan doesn't win Best Director,
fucking
and
man.
Oppie doesn't win Best Picture, never watching it again.
I'm okay with Oppenheimer not winning Best Picture, but if Christopher Nolan doesn't fucking finally win an Oscar for directing, it'll be fucking absurd.
Or just win an Oscar in general.
Yeah, or just win an Oscar, yeah.
He has not won an Oscar.
It's crazy. He's only been nominated for director once.
For Dunkirk. Took that long.
One time. Isn't that fucking wild?
It took Marty 40 years to win an Oscar.
One nomination.
Director.
Yeah, but he was nominated for
director.
Taxi Driver and Raging Bull and so many others.
Yeah, it's true.
At least he got nominations.
Also
But man,
Palme d'Or.
crazy. All right. Speaking of horror sequels, The Black Phone, which we mentioned last month as getting a sequel, the entire cast is actually returning to this film.
Wow, Ethan Hawke's returning
So
as well?
Ethan Hawke will be returning. Mason
The
Thomas.
Grabber?
Yeah,
Is
the
he-
Grabber.
Is he coming back to life? Is this going to be more...
Well, if you think about The Black Phone, he talks to spirits of the dead.
There's a supernatural element to it.
So Ethan Hawke's The Grabber will probably be a spirit in this. Maybe he'll be encouraging a new protege.
Maybe he possesses someone else.
Yeah, maybe. So I'm looking forward to that.
I liked The Black Phone quite a bit.
Same.
It was
good.
one of my favorite horror movies of 2022, and I'm pretty excited about this news.
Yeah, looks good.
It was a very successful movie, too, for its budget.
So successful.
It killed.
Caking.
Moving on to Beetlejuice 2 news. Tim Burton's film has wrapped filming. Remember, they had to just do like 2 days of filming. They had to shoot like a close-up of a foot or some shit.
But they actually
No, I'm just kidding.
they started production again just a few days after the strike ended, so it's been almost 3 weeks. So I'm sure they filmed a lot more, a bunch more things. Maybe they got even their reshoots done.
Maybe it's
I'm
possible
guessing.
because they only had 2 days of filming left. That's when they had to halt production.
Yeah,
maybe
so
they
I think
did
they
some other stuff.
I think they did a ton of stuff because it's been 3 weeks.
I guess it was like a good opportunity to like, hey, let's like check out
What else? What can we add
should
to
we
it?
fix?
Yeah, what do
What
we
should we
need?
fix?
Yeah,
Some really interesting news though right now. Sebastian Stan has been cast as a young Donald Trump in the new movie called I keep hearing mixed things.
It's called The Apprentice.
The Apprentice, but also The Student. I think it's probably more accurately The Apprentice. The best movie of all time.
It's the tremendous movie.
It's going to be the best, done by Sebastian Stan, the best actor.
The best actor around. Everybody says.
Everybody knows The Apprentice is going to be great. And the film also stars Maria Bakalova and Jeremy Strong. I think Maria's playing Ivanka Trump. This is pretty
Is
interesting.
it Ivana or Ivanka? Who's the wife?
Ivanka.
Okay.
Is that Ivanka Trump?
Don't be an idiot, Patrick.
It's wild that this guy's already getting all these movies made about him. I'm so curious to see the performance from Sebastian Stan. I really am.
I think that he's a good choice.
He probably does a great impression of him.
Yeah.
And I mean, when it comes to impressions, no one saw the Brendan Gleeson movie that when he
Yeah, very
acted as
few
Trump
people
because
saw
that
it.
was when he the movie was about when he got the presidency.
That movie was about him and his relationship with the FBI director.
And then this one is just going to be a young Trump. It's really interesting.
There's
I'm curious as hell.
Yeah.
I just want to see the performance.
I'm curious to see. I think Sebastian Stan was a good casting. Very good casting.
It's going to be a big movie. I think a lot of people are going to see it out of curiosity.
I'll see it. It better be fucking funny as hell.
Final bit of news. Sonic boys and Sonic girls out there. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 has ramped up production. We got a new image. It's rolling out now that the SAG-AFTRA strike is over.
It was a fun image. They posted a photo of the film slate with the boots of Sonic next to it. It's like a physical model that they use on set for lighting and stuff. And it's just like his boots next to the film slate.
It's like what Alien Romulus did when they posted their rap production. They had the slate with a little face.
Xenomorph feet.
No, they had a face hugger.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. It would have been better with
I
Xenomorph
liked
feet.
Sonic 2. Outside of all the wedding stuff in that movie, they could
20 minutes
cut
of
15 minutes out of that movie, but I thought it was hilarious.
Let's do 20 minutes of a wedding. Like, what is going on?
The sequence where he makes the fake version of himself to trick James Marsden's character inside of his bedroom is
Yeah, the Ferris Bueller
I was
trick.
crying laughing. It was so
the
funny.
farts, yeah.
So
it was
funny.
It was funny. It was a pretty good movie. It was pretty good.
It could have been excellent. I still enjoyed it. I had a good time.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. Yeah.
But that wraps movie news this week. Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode on Raiders of the Lost Podcast. Don't forget to become a patron today at patreon.com/Raiders of the Lost Podcast. It's the best way to support our show. You get all kinds of perks like the ad-free version of our show at the $5 tier. Every episode posts without commercials or ad breaks, so enjoy that. Also, leave those 5-star ratings and reviews on Spotify and Apple. I know you hear this from every podcast. Every show says, leave those 5-star reviews, please. Please leave the 5-star reviews.
Please, Lil.
It really does help the show a lot. So if you could, we got 30,000 Spotify followers, but only 3,000 ratings, basically.
Yeah.
Hit that 5-star, please.
Let's get those ratings.
We need that. Bump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers. And also, share us with your family and friends. The best way for a podcast to grow organically is word of mouth. Let everyone know about this dope-ass movie show hosted by these really cool identical twins.
You think I'm cool?
Just really cool identical twin and his brother. All right, take care, everybody.
See you next time.
Thank you for watching Raiders of the Lost podcast. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button as well, notifications for sure. Listen to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, everywhere you can listen to podcasts, and be sure to check out this other content we have on our YouTube channel.